Hi students, my name is Daiyaan and I am a math and life science tutor. So today I was tasked with introducing a short topic to you guys, and the topic that I've decided to speak about today is plants in life sciences. Okay, so the reason why I just say plants and I didn't say photosynthesis, the vascular system, xylem, flume, and a list of other topics that you cover in plants is simply because I just want to give a brief perspective of how we see plants. Okay, so another reason why I've decided to speak about it is that I've noticed that most students tend to succeed in subjects that, when I say subjects, speak about topics in life science, sorry, but subjects within life science that they are involved in. Okay, and the reason why they succeed in this is because it's relatable. For example, most students love it when they see questions about DNA, about the human endocrine system, about the menstrual cycle, all topics that they can relate to. They are able to succeed in because they have something to fall back on. Because a lot of the time, students in their exams they sit and they struggle to overcome the anxiety and the stress of this is my last paper, or I really need to succeed in this, right? And then all the information just goes out the door. However, when tackling questions such as genetics and you in the classroom you can't remember anything, you can go back to the fact that okay, I have parents that have blue eyes or grandparents that have blue eyes, and I have brown eyes. Okay, so how does that make sense? So that's what I'm speaking about when I say relatable. Okay, and there are topics, unfortunately, that are unrelatable, such as plants, and this is why I've decided to speak about it. Okay, Benjamin Franklin has a quote: show me something, or at least tell me something, and I'll forget. Teach me something, and I'll remember, but involve me in something, and I'll understand. And that's my main point that you will hear throughout this video, is that if you involve yourself in the processes of life sciences, you will understand it and you will never forget it because you've physically taken part in understanding how a specific process works and how to do something. If I lift a chair up, okay, I'm really bad with examples, but okay, here's a better one. If I water a plant and I see after a week the plant has grown 3 centimeters or 4 centimeters, I can understand why that plant is grown. Okay, so that's the main point that I'm making in this video, is the fact that if you apply yourself to specific topics, it will be so much easier and so much more fun instead of just reading notes and having to memorize and constantly read and memorize and get bored with the subjects. Okay, and what we're going to do in this video is that we're just going to go over a quick example, because I know most of you are already bored of listening to me. We're just going to cover a quick example of how we can implement this and how understanding is so much deeper when we involve ourselves into the processes of what makes up life sciences. So let's look at plants. So initially we thought that plants have leaves and they have roots and they have stems. They also produce their own food, i.e. they are producers. They produce their own food through photosynthesis, right? We also thought a bunch of other things such as the water vascular system, which is the xylem and the phloem and the types of plants you get. But if we want to just look at photosynthesis, for example, how do we implement an evolving process in understanding what photosynthesis is? So the way that we do this is, well, there's a lot of ways you can do it. But let's start off with the basics. The fact that there's two major components in photosynthesis. Okay, so we're sitting in a classroom and our teacher just told us that in order for photosynthesis to occur, we need energy from the sun and we need water. Okay, just those two. There's a lot of other factors that take place. For example, later in the grades we'll learn about dark photosynthesis and light photosynthesis, but I don't want to scare the junior students or discourage them from doing life sciences, so we'll just focus on the basics. Okay, so sunlight hits the plant and the plant takes in the sunlight. We don't know how it takes in the sunlight, or we don't know what part of the plant takes in the sunlight. And water goes from the roots, travels into the plant, and suddenly the plant is growing. Okay, so the first thing that we can do this at school, at our homes, at a friend's home, is we'll test what happens if we change the way that the plant receives its energy. So, for example, we could put the plant in a dark room, we could put the plant in a dark corner. This can happen anywhere, as there's plants everywhere. We need plants in order to survive. It gives us oxygen and we give it carbon dioxide. Okay, so after 2-3 days, let's have a check at this plant. And what do you guys think would happen? Well, what would happen is the plant would still have grown, which shows that it's created its own food, because in order for a plant to grow, it would be that it would have enough energy, i.e. it would make its own food, and by making its own food, provide itself with sufficient energy to grow. But what we would notice is that the plant would change color. It would change from a dark green to a brownish yellowish color. Okay, so what do we now know about photosynthesis based on the short investigation that what we notice firstly is that sunlight is not the only contributor to photosynthesis. And when I say sunlight, I'm speaking about light energy, okay? Because when we moved it from a place where it received ample amounts of sunlight to a dark place, it still continued to grow. This tells us that aside from taking light energy, it also takes heat energy, okay? So now, through our experiment, we've learned about the different types of energies. Another example, just to clarify, if I put a light on and the light bulb goes bright, it gives us light energy. But if I were to put my hand on that light bulb, it will get warm. So this tells us that there are certain objects, right, and certain types of energies that exhibits multiple forms of energy. Okay, so that's the first thing that we see. The next thing we notice is we get introduced to a chloroplast. Okay, so chloroplast is a specific site where photosynthesis occurs. So this is how we introduce the topic of the chloroplast, which processes chlorophyll. Okay, the next thing that we notice is the fact that the plants still continue to grow, meaning that photosynthesis isn't as simple as it may seem, and from there we can build on the knowledge. Okay, and I'm not going to take the explanation further of how photosynthesis occurs, because this will seem more like a lesson and you guys might not really want to do that right now. But this was just a short explanation to show why understanding through physically doing experiments and investigations can greatly assist you guys instead of simply reading, writing, studying. Okay, life science is this is why you guys have so many practicals throughout the year, is because life science refers to physical acts, right? Through these investigations as well, you guys will get experiments in your final paper, theoretical experiments. Sorry, let me just specify. You guys will get theoretical experiments. Apologies, a bit of a tongue twister. You guys will get theoretical experiments throughout the year, and especially in your final paper from grades 10 to 12, there will be questions where you'll have to tackle them by yourself. So this way, through understanding by the process of physically doing it, not only do you guys retain more information, understand better, but you will also be able to tackle investigations by yourselves. And so this is why I believe that by shifting the mindset of simply memorizing points on a piece of paper about a specific topic, through shifting to physically doing something and seeing how important a specific thing is, how sunlight is important for the plant to maintain that green color, and how heat also contributes to photosynthesis, would go a much further way, and you'd actually learn how much you enjoy the subject. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope to see you soon.